But they do point out again and again that he does not have the president's interest at heart, and he was fired from the campaign. That said, it is something that everyone here has been watching, and I suspect they'll be watching the interview coming up, Erin.
All right. Thank you very much, Jeff Zeleny. And so now let's go to Sam Nunberg. He's here with me tonight on set, former Trump campaign advisor. Sam, thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, you know, I was a campaign advisor from 2011 to 2015 when everybody was laughing at Donald Trump. So for
you were
Sarah,
a campaign advisor from 2011, so he was thinking
so
about
for
running
Sarah,
for that long? It was that explicit?
Yes, and for Sarah Huckabee to start criticizing me, I would say, and I know you may not like it the way I say it, she should shut her fat mouth.
I don't like that at all. I find that, completely irrelevant.
It's irrelevant, but I understand. But
right,
yeah,
you can comment on the
but she
substance
says I'm bizarre. I'm bizarre. Yeah, it's pretty bizarre what her father does. That's, to me, it's pretty bizarre.
Okay.
Okay, we won't get into it. Fine.
Okay. No. I actually don't think she used the word bizarre. She said, I think he definitely doesn't know that for sure because he's incorrect.
I don't know.
There was no collusion.
I don't know.
She's
for
talking
sure.
about whether wrongdoing was. I don't think she used the word bizarre at all to refer to you.
No, but she had her people do it on background for the interview.
Okay, but what does her appearance have to do with it? I just want to be direct about that.
Oh no, I didn't mean about. No, I meant that she should shut her mouth about talking about me. That's what I meant, not about her appearance.
Okay, so look, I wasn't planning on asking about this early in the interview, but because you talked about her fat mouth, I want to ask you about this because it is important. You've done 6 interviews in the past 4 hours, right?
6?
You've been busy.
Maybe
6 is
yeah.
our count. Okay, so look. Bizarre was a word that some White House officials were using to describe some of your interviews. Nuts is another one. Okay,
really?
So that's where the word came from. So that's probably where you got it.
But Erin, I would like whoever said that to say it on the record.
Okay, but let me ask you this.
Yes.
Because you talked about her fat mouth. You called her a fat slob in another interview that you did on New York One. I reached out to a Trump ally before you came on to say what do you think about Sam? What would you say? And essentially, this person told me, I just want to be direct because he's not the only one to say it.
Yeah.
You're drunk or off your meds. At least half a dozen other CNN reporters have received similar messages. What do you say to them? I mean, is this a hit job or is there something wrong?
No, I don't care what they say. I think it's fun. You know what? I really could care less what the Trump White House has to say about me. They have a president, as you know. What was your poll that you produced last week, Erin? What is he at, 38%?
You're talking about his approval rating?
Yeah, his approval rating. So any of them to criticize me, I could tell you, if Roger and me were in there, Trump would be at 55%.
Roger Stone.
Yes, Roger Stone. So whatever they want to say, they could say whatever they want about me. I don't care. Once again, I would say they're doing a terrible job for him. And they've been doing a terrible job they've been doing a terrible job since he's been elected.
Are they trying to do some coordinated hit job on you by reaching out to reporters and saying those things about your state of mind today?
I don't know. This is the first time I've heard about this. They're more than they can do whatever they want.
Well, I wanted to give you a chance to respond to it because it is something people are talking about, and I think it's important they have a chance to respond to it, Sam.
I would once again say that Sarah Huckabee is a terrible press officer, that Trump has a 38% approval rating, that the Republicans are going to lose the House in the midterms, and that's a fact. And they can say whatever they want about me. They've treated Roger and me terribly. Now, Roger won't say that.
No, he won't. As a matter of fact, that's not what he said at all today. He referred when we reached out to him about what you've been saying, right, that he's been treated terribly. I'm just going to look here for his exact quote. He said that I was briefly part of the Trump campaign and have been the president's friend and advisor for decades. So
yeah,
he didn't at all say that he's been treated terribly by the president.
But he was. And the minute your former colleague, by the way, to me it's a joke that your network hired him. But the minute your former colleague was hired.
Who are you talking about?
Corey Lewandowski.
Okay. Former campaign chief.
Campaign chief, which was a joke in itself. I mean, after he was going to get fired from AFP in New Hampshire, but the minute he was hired, there were 2 separate rules for people like Roger and me, and people like Lewandowski. Now, I can tell you, as we've discussed before, I came up with the wall. I came up with a lot of that messaging. Corey didn't come up with anything except
What do you
about
mean two
rallies.
separate sets of rules?
There were two separate rules. Trump decided that he was always going to treat Roger and me in a very bad way. And he was going to treat Corey, his special Corey, in a different way because he valued him more. And now, that could have been something I've learned after working for him, but I mean, yeah.
Why is Roger not giving the same message as you are tonight, then? Why is he not
I don't
saying
know.
that?
I don't know, and I haven't spoken to him in a week. I don't know.
When's the last time you spoke to the president? I know you did an interview. But what was it, February 28th on MSNBC? You did an interview, and you said Trump saw that interview. Did you have a chance to speak with him? Have you spoken to? When's the last time you spoke to the president?
I've not spoken to Donald Trump since a week before he swore into the presidency. And I would say once again, I know he may not value this or whatever, but I'm a supporter of his, despite what he thinks. And
You're a supporter, even though you're raving about his 30-something percent approval rating and how horrible.
I think he should be doing better. I think he's done very good things on foreign policy. I think the economy's doing well. I don't like Aaron. He's spending money like a drunken sailor. I've never seen something like this, and I don't know why. Because we have a 3% GDP. He shouldn't be doing this.
All right, I want to just talk a little bit more about this. We now have the actual subpoena, which I know you've provided us, okay? So the subpoena asks for your information, your emails, your texts, your communications with various people. 10 people, in fact.
Carter Page. I never talked to Carter Page. You think I talked to Corey Lewandowski after November 1st?
So Carter,
2015.
Corey, the president, Hope Hicks, Keith Schiller, his bodyguard is not a full word to describe it, but he also played that role. Close advisor, Michael Cohen, his personal lawyer, Paul Manafort, Rick Gates, Roger Stone, and Steve Bannon.
And the reason, Aaron,
are there any of those people that you'd be willing to?
Here's what I'd be willing to do, and I've thought about this in a previous interview. I would be willing to go in for testimony. I want it to be fair. I don't want them to target Roger. They could be targeting Rod. They could. What I think is, look, Paul Manafort, Rick Gates, crooks. They were crooks. They didn't pay taxes.
They have been charged. Yeah.
They did. I believe they were I believe that they were crooks, and I've heard that they've been very loose about money. What I'm not going to have is to help Mueller's team target Roger Stone. Roger is my mentor. Roger is like a surrogate father to me, and I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
Why, though, fall on the sword for someone else? And I asked that very specifically. Okay, Susan McDougal, I don't know if you remember her, right? But she was involved, was involved in the Whitewater investigation, right? She did not comply with a grand jury subpoena.
Yeah.
She went to prison for 18 months.
Mueller's not going to send me to prison for this. This is ridiculous. Look at this. Carter Page. I never spoke to Carter Page in my life.
Well, then why wouldn't you be happy to provide your communications if there aren't any?
Because I'm not going to go over when I have 15 emails a day with Roger Stone
and Steve Bannon
and have to spend 80 hours.
Okay, but what I don't understand
you
is
know what?
You could go to prison for this, okay? And if the communications do not show collusion with the Russians,
right?
Why wouldn't you just go in and testify about them? What do they show that you're so embarrassed of?
They show nothing that I'm so embarrassed. You know what but I don't believe.
You said earlier that you talk about people that you hate. So
okay,
are there disparaging things? You're just embarrassed. You were talking smack about others, or what?
No, that's not the reason. What I don't like, and this is a separate issue, is that I always find, Aaron, that there are two separate rules for Republicans and Democrats. Mm-hmm. Why did they not ask Hillary Clinton and Hillary Clinton's folks to produce these emails?
Perhaps they will, but I mean, I know you've been bringing that point up today.
And I think it's ridiculous.
That would be a separate investigation.
And I think it's ridiculous.
That would be, and fine, you can talk about that. But right now, we're talking about the specific investigation about Donald J. Trump.
Once again, Donald Trump did not collude with the Vladimir Putin is too smart to collude with Donald Trump.
Do you currently have a lawyer?
Yeah, Patrick. Yeah, I have a very good lawyer, Patrick Brackley.
Okay, what has Patrick told you? Is he happy about all these interviews you've been doing today?
About the interviews, no, and he didn't know about any of this until I did it. And what happened was that I had a 3 p.m. deadline, Aaron, and I was going
to respond to Mueller.
To respond, but they sent this to me on Friday. Who am I? Am I some crook? Once again, Trump fired me within 6 weeks of the campaign. By the way, after I saved him, when he criticized McCain, That was Roger and me. But in any event,
So did you respond? I just want to be clear here. 3 p.m. So you
I started
formally,
this.
did you hit the deadline before 3 p.m. and you told him no?
No, I started
So
looking at
you had a
it.
deadline and you didn't
I
respond at all.
started looking at this. I started going over my emails, and I was like, this is ridiculous. What do I have to hand over all my emails to a federal investigator? And why? Because they don't like me? Because they don't like Roger Stone? They don't like Steve Bannon? They don't like Michael Cohen? When did I talk to Michael Cohen after I was fired? It's ridiculous. November 1, 2015.
I still don't understand, if you don't have communications with any of these people, why you would have anything to hide. And in the ones that you do,
I have nothing to
if
hide.
all it is personally disparaging information about other people, which I presume is there as it would be in most people's texts, so what?
First of all,
What I don't understand is why you'd be willing to go to prison for it, Sam. I think that's what's confounding
I'm not going to
everybody.
get sent to prison. You
How
think
do
I'm going to
know
get
that?
sent to prison?
Well, I mean, someone has been before.
One person, fine. You're mentioning from a long time ago. Do you think Robert Mueller is going to send me to prison, Erin, for this?
I don't know, but he certainly would be within his rights. And certainly you've been thumbing your nose at him all day.
You know what really upset me? Here's what upset me. Is that I went and I spoke with their investigators, who were highly professional, and I've only said nice things about their investigators.
Yes, you said they were.
They were extremely professional, and it really showed me, by the way, I was very impressed that this was the government, the government runs, this was like a white shoe law firm. Mm-hmm. And I sat there and I spent that. Now they want me to go back. I have to spend more money to go to D.C. I have to spend more money on legal bills. And I have to go sit around. Am I allowed to earn a living?
So is this about money?
No, it's about the fact that I don't think it's right. And also, I don't think it's right, once again, I don't think it's right in regards to the way Hillary Clinton was treated by the FBI. And now, let's be honest. I've said to you repeatedly, not to you, well, we spoke the other.
Yeah, we've spoken before. You brought it up.
I said that Trump caused this investigation.
Yes, that you have said that.
Trump caused the investigation. Trump gave the Lester Holt interview. Trump had the Russians in later that week. That's fine. But why do I mean, do you know the way I've been treated by Donald Trump? I mean, I hate the guy. Okay, so for me...
Is there something that we don't know about how he treated you? Something just private? I mean, other than the fact that he, publicly he fired you, they cited the Facebook. Was there some kind of conversation or something that you could tell us about?
I was told I was not going to get fired when those Facebook posts were released. Now, at that point, I thought that Corey Lewandowski and Hope Hicks had released them. I was told I was not going to get fired. I was then called that morning when Donald Trump did Sunday interviews with the Sunday shows, and you could see this. He did those interviews. And then Trump called me afterwards to tell me I was being fired and that they were issuing a press release. And he called me a low-level part-time consultant. I was being laughed at for years. I supported him. Like he was like I shouldn't have been, but he was like a father to me. And he treated me like that when he fired me, and he let Corey Lewandowski and Hope Hicks collude. Oh, and by the way, mysteriously, Erin, then Trump's cell phone is released the next day. What a coincidence, right? It was released on a Monday after I was fired on a Sunday. I was told, once again, Trump told me, he told me in that conversation he was going to keep it quiet.
Trump told you personally?
Yes. And then Corey called.
So Trump said we're going to keep this quiet. And then he referred to you as a low-level. And
he let them draft that statement.
Campaign aide. Okay.
And he let them draft that statement. And by the way, I want to say this.
So is this payback to him for treating you so badly?
Payback to him was I worked for Ted Cruz. I mean, let's get it out. I worked for Ted Cruz. I endorsed Ted Cruz. But I did that at the point where he was going around campaigning with Chris Christie, who got around 5 votes in New Hampshire, and he was going to allow him to run his campaign. And then he announced that Chris Christie was going to run the transition, which was a joke in itself to me.
Do you have immunity? Were you offered immunity by Bob Mueller's team?
They say to you that you're not a subject or target. Now, when you go in there, what they say is, as long as you tell the truth, anything else you tell them, you're not going to get charged for. And I told them all the truth. I mean, that was, and once again, they were very, very good when I went in there.
So everything you've told them, they said they will not charge you for?
Yeah.
Okay. So back to this point about the texts. And the
text.
emails.
I don't even have text anymore.
Right, well, they can get them from your service provider.
And they're more than happy to. And you know what I was thinking about today, by the way? I was thinking, to save time, I've been advised against this, maybe I'll just give them my password, my email password. Because what do I have to go?
So then you're going to comply.
Then I would comply, yes.
So now you're saying you might comply.
I have no problem complying in itself. What I'm not going to do is sit, Erin, for 15 hours after I sat with them. I have no problem if they get the emails. Once again,
You're just
Carter
not gonna sit in front
Page.
of- Now,
never.
is there more than these 2 pages to the subpoena? Is there anything else
No.
that you received? This is the only communication that you got
And there's
from them
something else
about
I
appearing
didn't
before
get
the
from
grand
my
jury?
attorney that they say that you have to show up to the grand jury next Friday. This Friday, yeah.
So 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, March 9th. You're supposed to show up in front of the grand jury on March 9th.
That's what I've been told by my lawyer. Yes.
Okay. And to your knowledge, he did not respond either before 3 p.m. today. He's just been watching you. You haven't talked to him today?
I tried to contact him. He didn't call me back.
Okay. So on these texts, Bahar, the former U.S. attorney, he's been tweeting about you today.
What did he say?
He said, I'm prepared to bet Special Counsel Mueller's team already has Sam Nunberg's emails.
I hope they do. Then why do I have to do that? Why do I have to sit here for 15 hours and do it like I'm a paralegal? I did this work after I graduated college, before I went to law school. Why do I have to sit here and produce these things? I can tell you, Erin, that Steve Bannon and Roger Stone, I emailed with them like 30 times a day. That's how we communicate. Should I have to sit there and, save everything?
Well, I mean, this stuff's going to be saved somewhere. What you're saying is you're willing to them. You're assuming, perhaps, right, that they have all those communications. You're just unwilling to answer questions in front of a grand jury.
I'm not going to answer questions in front of a grand jury if they do not explain to me why I have to go in there. Because the idea that, once again, that Donald Trump colluded with Russia is a joke. Vladimir Putin is too smart to collude with Donald Trump. Donald Trump could keep his mouth shut if Putin colluded with him.
All right, so I know that FBI investigators asked you a lot of questions about that specifically.
Yeah.
How do you know Donald Trump would not collude with the Russians or allow others around him to do so?
There was an issue when Trump said that he liked Putin being in Syria. If you can recall this, in the beginning of the election. And he said that. And we discussed this. First of all, it was inherent that Trump understood, because he has a very good understanding of middle America, that average Americans at that point, where we're not going to remember, ISIS was chopping off Americans' heads at that point. Barack Obama was pretty pathetic. He had withdrawn from Iraq. This is my opinion.
Right.
He had withdrawn from Iraq, and we had watched ISIS take over this wide raft of land. And Trump said, I think Putin would do a better job, basically, against ISIS over over Barack Obama. And I said at that point, I said, look, it could be a problem. People like Marco Rubio will come out against us, Jeb Bush, that were being very anti-Russian. On the other hand, Rand Paul, Ron Paul supporters wouldn't. And once again, as I said, because Barack Obama was so weak against ISIS for the Republican primary electorate, it wouldn't be so bad if Trump took that position.
So specifically, I know that you have said that you do think that they have something on Donald Trump.
Yeah.
The investigators.
I don't know what it
from
is.
the interview, but you're confident in that. So what made you feel that way?
I can't explain it unless you were in there. I can't explain unless you were in there. And that's the answer. You're not going to like that answer. I can't explain it. But they have something. Now, remember, we learned about Trump Tower Moscow, okay? Right, and then Trump signed a letter of intent to do business with Trump Tower, with Russia. And Michael sent the thing to the
that
KGB.
tower, of course, which never went ahead, but yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
And I had never known about that, obviously. We had never, until I read about it. I just get a feeling he did something. And by the way, you're going to be fine when it comes out what he did. But people like Sean Hannity, Lou Dobbs, Jeanine Pirro, they're going to be very embarrassed when it comes
what
out.
it is. All right.
Yes.
Well, let's just take a pause there, if you don't mind. We're going to squeeze in one commercial and come back and talk about the Trump Tower meeting itself, which I know you have a lot to say about. So we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. All right, back with our breaking story. Trump's former campaign aide, Sam Nunberg, refusing to comply with a grand jury subpoena in the Russia investigation. Sam Nunberg is back with me, and you've explained there's this subpoena which asks for your communications between yourself and 10 people involved with the Trump campaign, and you're saying also asked you to appear in person before the grand jury this Friday. Okay, I want to ask you about something very important, which is the Trump Tower meeting, the one in which Paul Manafort attended, Jared Kushner attended, Donald Trump Jr. attended, among others, where they were told that there would be dirt on Hillary Clinton. There's been a consistent message from Team Trump, which is that Donald Trump himself did not know about this meeting.
What do you think?
You tell me.
I mean, if you see there's something he said, I already saw that within a week, or he said something, we're going to find something out about Hillary Clinton within a week. I don't know why he couldn't just admit that he knew about this meeting, if indeed, I believe he did. If he did, I don't think that, now remember, you're talking to somebody who doesn't think there's anything wrong with that meeting. So you're sitting here talking to somebody who...
So you're saying he knew. You don't personally think that's collusion, because you've said you don't think he colluded, but you believe that he knew about that meeting.
I think he knew it. Look, I think he probably knew in advance. And
in advance?
Yeah, I think if I had to guess, Don informed him about it. And then once again, Don gets an email. If you look at the email says that Hillary Clinton was indicted by whatever the equivalent of the Russian justice, or whatever it is, Department of Justice. Okay. So why should we know about that, if that was true?
So I just...
And by the way, I wanted to bring something else up with you, and I was thinking about this. And you've been very fair. Thank you very much. Did they ask Hillary Clinton when they were investigating Hillary Clinton, who made a point not to protect her emails? Did they ask her, the people that they were going for something like this?
I don't think we ever got provided those subpoenas, as you have kindly chosen to provide yours to us. On this Trump Tower meeting, though, I do want to ask you, Sam, because I think this is just important so people understand. You left the campaign in August of 2015.
Yeah,
right?
I have no idea.
All right, so the meeting was actually in June 2016. So
Correct.
When you're saying you think he knew in advance, you're saying that based on your knowledge of the individuals and how they interact with each other, but not based on actually having been there.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, correct. It's my opinion. And by the way, once again, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong.
You just think there's no way that meeting happened without Donald Trump Sr., I'm sorry, Donald Trump himself knowing about it.
You know, the travesty of that whole thing was when it was reported by the New York Times initially, that they handled it so badly, the communications of it, because there was no problem with it.
No, in your opinion.
In my opinion, yes. There could be and they just consistently, got caught in lies. If you remember that week.
Yes,
yeah, I remember watching your show. So they consistently got caught. The first initial report is Sunday, then it's then it's Monday, Tuesday. Why not just tell the truth? What was the big deal? There was no deal there.
So what about Carter Page? He's another former Trump aide. We have obviously learned, right? He's on the list. They want your communications with him, of which you say there are none. We've learned he was eventually under surveillance, of course, for suspected ties with the Russians.
I think Carter Page was dealing with the Russians. I think he was colluding.
You used the word colluded. Okay.
I think he was colluding with the Russians. Sure. I don't think that he had the power within the campaign, but I think he was trying to put himself off, that he had this authority, that he could stop sanctions, he could help. With the gas company. Remember, he gives that speech that summer? Yeah, sure. I think he colluded.
All right. He responded today,
Yeah,
because you have been saying this today. He calls your claim that he colluded laughable, and he texted to our Manu Raju, our congressional reporter, quote, ask him, for specific rather than more mindless rhetoric.
Well,
what specifics can you give?
Why did he go to Russia that summer? Remember that? He went to Russia that summer. And he was an energy consultant. And what did Obama sanction Russia on? Energy. What do you think? What was he doing?
So that's where you get collusion.
Yeah, I don't think he knew about the emails. I don't think anybody in the campaign coordinated with Russia on releasing Hillary Clinton's emails. I also believe Vladimir Putin did do the emails. And this whole idea when they start defending it, when they put it on another network, that they start saying, "Oh, it wasn't Russia." Yeah, no, it was Russia. It was Russia, and Julian Assange coordinated with Russia.
So let me just come back to something important here, because Julian Assange, obviously, is WikiLeaks. Roger Stone, who you've referred to as your mentor and father figure just moments ago to me, has testified to Congress that he did communicate with WikiLeaks via an intermediary. The Atlantic magazine has published private magazines between Stone and WikiLeaks.
Okay.
Why are you putting your reputation on the line for Roger Stone, no matter how much you like the guy? Why are you putting your reputation on the line for Roger Stone?
Because here's my problem, is what I think is, and once again, and it may not sound reasonable, I think that there are separate rules for Republicans and Democrats. Like the fact that Hillary Clinton got away with what she did, with what her husband was doing during Barack Obama's administration, it's ridiculous. When they went after, now Manafort and Gates, I believe.
You're pointing at some of the 10 people
yes,
they're asking
I believe
just so the viewer understands what you're
yes,
pointing at.
Okay. Manafort and Gates, yeah, I think that they did illegal, nefarious activities with finances. But Erin, here's what I believe, and this is just my opinion, is that they decided, and for years they were targeting, they wanted to go after them for years. Now, I'm not going to be a part of them targeting and trying to set up some case against Roger. Roger and I, once again, and I don't care what the White House says, we were treated terribly. We did not help. We were not, this wasn't some weird plot that we got fired, that I planned out to have my Facebook post. We were treated terribly, and we had no contact with the campaign. We didn't.
All right, I got to squeeze one more break in. I want to ask you something very specific about those 10 people, and I also want to ask you about the president's trip to Russia. When Keith Schiller has testified he was offered women to come to his room. We're going to talk about that right after this with Sam. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Still here with Sam Nunberg, and we have some breaking news just coming in from the ranking member of the House Intelligence Committee, Adam Schiff, just speaking to cameras, and because of the Trump Tower meeting, which you were just talking to me about. He is saying that he wants you to come in front of the committee and talk to them about this, to understand exactly what you're saying about how Trump would have known about this meeting. What do you say to Adam Schiff?
I think it's fun. I like what Roger Stone said about Adam Schiff. Schiff is full of Schiff. I think Adam is trying to run for senator. I think that he's trying to use this. Once again, I probably think that the Democrats will end up winning the House, and he'll have a very powerful position.
Is that a yes or a no?
I would go there, sure. I think it'd be funny.
So you'd go there, but you won't go in front of the grand jury.
Well, you know what? I don't think I've been clear about this.
Okay.
I won't sit for 80 hours to produce every email I had with Roger Stone and Steve Bannon. And Erin,
so are you saying you actually, if it's a less amount of time, that you will go?
Maybe, I don't know. I just think that this is ridiculous. After I went in there, once again, I mean, say what you want, and I've said that Rosenstein was right to launch this independent counsel. But for me to have to, after I sat there and I cooperated with them, and why do I have to give them every communication I had with Steve Bannon, Roger Stone?
Because they asked for it, and it's the special counsel. Okay,
fine. We'll find out. You know what? We'll find out. I think this is this is history. So we'll see. I think it's 50-50 what Mueller will do. I don't think he knows what he's going to do. What do you think he's going to do?
So is this sort of like you're doing? Is this a game of chicken for you right now?
No, it's not a game of chicken. It's just that I think that after I went in there, once again, after I went in there, what do we have? What do all of us have to do to continue with this? What are they going to continue to ask us for stuff? It's ridiculous.
It does come back to the question that I think we've all repeatedly had: is if you have nothing to hide, why not just answer every question they have? Who cares? It's 80 hours out of your life. You don't do it, you could go to prison. That's, I think, the fundamental question people have watching. Why not? Just answer the questions.
Because once again, and this goes back to something else. And by the way, whatever Trump did, and if he did something, whatever Trump did, he was going to get away with it. So he shouldn't have fired Comey. Okay. But I don't like the fact that did they treat Hillary Clinton people like this when they were investigating the emails? Did they? Did they ask for it?
Again, we don't have the subpoenas, I'm not sure.
Okay, so let's see them.
So, Sam, I have to ask you one other thing.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's an awkward question to ask, but, you know, I've interviewed you
Yes.
before. You're sitting very close to me.
Yes.
We talked earlier about what people in the White House were saying about you.
Yeah,
Talking about
what
whether you were drinking or on drugs or whatever they had happened today. Talking to you,
Yeah.
I have smelled alcohol on your breath.
Well, I have not had a drink.
You haven't had a drink, so that's
No.
not.
No.
So I just, because it is the talk out there, again, I know it's awkward, let me just give you the questions. You can categorically answer that. No, you have had a drink today?
My answer is no. I have not.
Anything else?
No.
No.
No. Besides my meds,
Okay.
antidepressants, is that okay?
No, I'm just trying to understand.
Well, look. They
What
can say
happened today?
They can say whatever they want. I don't really care. Once again, they're pathetic. Their president has a 33% approval rating. What was the rating number you guys released?
I don't know the exact number. It was in the 30s.
It was in the 30s. So whatever they want to say about me, that's fine. Once again, Roger is very nice. Roger has a relationship with the president. Roger's very loyal to the president. I don't care.
Okay.
Okay? I'm the one who was treated terribly by him. And I'll say that 1,000 times. So
Yes.
whatever they want to say, they've tried to use that against me. You know, this was their big thing. Well, I'll tell you one thing. I didn't steal from the campaign. Okay? I didn't have an illicit affair with a married man. You know, all I did was work for him for 4.5 years. And now I get this crap. After legal bills.
All right. Well, Sam, I appreciate your time. I know you gave us a lot of it, and thank you very much.
Thank you very
appreciate it.
much.
It's good to talk to you again. And that was Sam Nunberg with all of this important story he's talking about today.